Hello everyone, welcome to the Alrasta channel. Here I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 175. Remember, this is based on the novel, so it won't be 100% identical to the Donghua version. Alright, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. In the year 2077, the virtual reality game Gray Snow World dominates the lives of billions of people. The game is so realistic that actions within it have real-world consequences. Luofeng, an ambitious young man, receives a shocking mission to punish 20 people, including his own father, Luo Hongguo. His father, a hardworking man, had inadvertently led a powerful guild in the game, the Nirvana Guild, whose actions in the virtual world had caused the deaths of thousands of people in the real world. Luo Hongguo never intended to do anything wrong. He was just a player caught up in the addictive whirlwind of the game. His success in Gray Snow World, the game played by Luofeng's father, made him rich and attracted the attention of many influential people who took advantage of him. They helped build Nirvana, but also participated in the brutal actions carried out by the guild. Without knowing the true consequences, Luo Hongguo had become a pawn in a much larger game. Luofeng, who was initially angry and disappointed, began to understand his father's situation. He realized that his father was merely a victim of a corrupt system, a system that benefited the Virtual Universe Company, the company behind Gray Snow World. The company, whether intentionally or not, had created an environment that allowed acts of violence in the virtual world to have fatal consequences in the real world. Luofeng decided not only to punish the perpetrators, but also to uncover the truth behind this case. Luofeng's mission began. He arrested 20 people involved in Nirvana's brutal actions, including his own wealthy and influential family members. His family members, who had enjoyed the benefits of his father's success in the game, were shocked and angry. They were unaware of the full impact of their actions. The arrests caused chaos among the Luo family elite, as some of them were strong supporters of the corrupt system. Luofeng brought his prisoners to the planet Tianhua, a remote and isolated world where he planned to put them on trial. However, this mission was not solely about punishment. Luofeng intended to uncover a larger criminal network involving the Virtual Universe Company and other influential figures who were profiting from the game. He must fight against powerful forces willing to do anything to protect their secrets. Planet Tianhua becomes a battlefield between justice and power, where Luofeng must face not only his enemies, but also his own inner struggles. He must decide how to punish them, and whether the punishment is enough to end the cycle of violence caused by the game. The question is not just about how to punish, but how to create systemic change so that such tragedies never happen again. On the planet Tianhua, the atmosphere is tense. The prisoners who were once arrogant now realize the true danger they face. Some of them begin to regret their actions, while others remain determined to defend themselves. Luofeng, with the help of his Earth-based bodyguards, begins investigating evidence linking the Virtual Universe Company to the crimes committed by members of the Nirvana Guild. He discovers secret documents, conversation transcripts, and transaction records revealing how the company has profited from the game and indirectly supported the violent actions carried out by the players. When planet Tianhua, home to the Luo family in the Milky Way galaxy, became the center of attention. The family's main residence on Earth, which is valuable because of its proximity to the Virtual Universe Company's floating city, the huge Axe Dojo, and the Earth itself, began to be abandoned and eventually became home to over 60,000 members of the Luo family. In the eastern part of the planet lies a massive prison, over 1,000 kilometers in diameter, constructed from advanced metal alloys. Inside the prison cell, Luo Fuxin, a handsome and wealthy member of the family, begged his great-grandfather Luo Hai for mercy. He claimed he was innocent, insisting that he had always followed the family rules. However, Luo Hai, a wise family veteran, knew the truth. Virtual Universe, with its extensive surveillance network, had been monitoring Luo Fuxin's every move. Despite the family's internal investigation finding no evidence, Virtual Universe Company possessed all records of his actions. actions that had led to the deaths of thousands of innocent people. Luofeng, the head of the family, has two sons, Luohai, who loves training and space exploration, and Luoping, who is more interested in management. Both have received world-class education and training for hundreds of years. Luo Fuxin is one of the young family members most loved by Luohai. In the Luo family square on planet Tianhua, over 100,000 family members gathered. Shuxin, Luoping, and Luohai, along with several other world masters, stood before the crowd. Luofeng's arrival was marked by a blood-red triangular ship landing in the square, leaving all attendees in awe. The family leader and his bodyguard, Dylan, appeared, greeted with respect and admiration. Luofeng asked Shuxin about the status of the arrest of the 20th family member involved in the criminal activities uncovered by Virtual Universe Company. Shuxin explained that some members were still in other star fields and would take up to 12 days to reach planet Tianhua. Luofeng realized how large the family had grown, even exceeding 1 million members, and emphasized the importance of enforcing strict family rules to prevent potential crimes. In the family living room, Luofeng, Shuxin, Luoping, and Luohai discussed the case. Luohai defended Luo Fuxin, describing him as an extraordinary and intelligent family member. However, Luofeng revealed that Luo Fuxin's intelligence and talent had been abused for personal gain, using underhanded methods to run his business and eliminate competitors through murder. This information came directly from Virtual Universe Company, irrefutable evidence. Luofeng explained the need for strict selection and fair competition within families to ensure that only deserving members would benefit from family resources. He also revealed plans to hold family courts attended by all members on planet Tianhua. On the 13th day, the family court proceedings began. Nearly 100,000 family members gathered to witness the legal proceedings. The 20 family members who had been arrested, including Luo Fuxin, were brought to court. Luofeng appeared before them and stated that their crimes had been exposed through information from the Virtual Universe Company. He sentenced Luo Fuxin to death as an example for the other family members. The execution of Luo Fuxin was witnessed by all the family members present and broadcast live to the upper echelons of the Virtual Universe Company, who were monitoring and evaluating Luofeng's leadership. This trial was not merely about punishment, but served as a reminder of the consequences of violating rules and crime within the family. Meanwhile, Luo Fuxin's body lay motionless on the courtroom floor, fresh blood flowing from his temple, sending a chill down everyone's spine. A deafening silence fell over the crowd of 100,000 family members. They all felt an undeniable sense of respect and awe toward Luofeng, the legendary founder of the family. This family had been built by him, and if anyone else had presided over this trial and sparked the conflict, no one would dare to protest against Luofeng. His actions, no matter how harsh, were merely seen as the firm hand of a strong leader maintaining order. Luofeng quickly continued the trial. Luo Yuqian and Luo Yurong, two sisters bound by family ties and crime, received their respective sentences. Luo Yuqian was sentenced to 10,000 years in prison. A life sentence considering her current strength would not outlast the duration of her imprisonment. Meanwhile, Luo Yurong, due to her role in manipulating her sister, was ultimately sentenced to death. The sentencing continued. Some were sentenced to death for their horrific crimes. Others were sentenced to 100 years or 10,000 years in prison, reflecting the varying degrees of their wrongdoing and the gravity of their actions. The sentences were tailored to the details of each crime, based on detailed information provided by the Virtual Universe Company. Luofeng remains unaffected by pleas or appeals. His focus is solely on enforcing the strict laws of the Luo family, laws that transcend the broader laws of the universe. The courtroom atmosphere was tense. Broadcasting the trial across the vast family network ensured that every member, across countless star systems, witnessed the consequences of defying family rules. The horrific scale of the punishments, 13 death sentences, and lengthy prison terms for the others, served as a harsh warning. The fact that only one of the condemned was at the universe level further underscored the gravity of their situation. Those sentenced to 10,000 years in prison would have to achieve a breakthrough to the universe level in their lifetime, or die in prison. Luofeng's final speech to his gathered family members further reinforced his point. Even the most cunning plans cannot escape the eyes of the Virtual Universe Company. He emphasized that killing for power is acceptable within certain limits, but the mass murder of innocent people will not be tolerated. He highlighted the family's abundant resources, which enabled pursuits like virtual games, but warned that those who crossed the line would face the same fate as those executed that day. With his final cold announcement, Luofeng disappeared, leaving the assembly stunned and deeply affected. News of the trial spread quickly, reaching millions of members of the Luo family across the vast expanse of space. The harsh display of justice, broadcast widely, was a turning point. The criminals within the Luo family, once bold, now reconsidered their actions. Then, on the upper floor of a palace on planet Qianhua, Luofeng revealed the true motive behind the brutal trial. His father, Luo Hongguo, was innocent. He had been forced to carry out this mission by the Virtual Universe Company. He pondered his future and his own path, now committed to a training period far longer than anticipated. On the other side, Luofeng announces his departure for Primal Chaos City, a journey that may take over 1,000 years. He plans to return as a far stronger individual to become a world master-level warrior. Meanwhile, he also bids farewell to his family and gives his wife the highly effective E9 laser weapon and the automaton warship, reinforcing his commitment to the safety and security of his family. In the virtual world, Luofeng received his Level 4 mission evaluation results. He scored 70% and earned 280,000 points, but he was disappointed with his score. The evaluation report explained that although he had successfully punished many of his family members who were guilty, he was deemed too lenient toward his father, Luo Hongguo, who was involved in the Nirvana Guild's crimes in the virtual world. The report noted that although Luo Hongguo was not at fault, he was still responsible for the guild's actions. Luofeng was deemed biased for prioritizing family ties over his obligations to the Virtual Universe Company. The company deemed that he prioritized personal matters over public affairs, resulting in a score of only 70%. Despite this, he received a bonus of 600,000 points for his achievements across the 4 mission levels. His total points reached 1,442,000, but this was still far below the maximum score of 2 million. The overall evaluation commends his courage and decisiveness in completing the mission, especially in levels 1 and 3. However, the assessment of level 4 is critical, highlighting Luofeng's inability to separate personal and professional matters, as he was too lenient towards his father. Virtual Universe Company hopes that in the future, he will be able to better distinguish between personal and public matters. Luofeng was unaffected by the assessment. He had achieved a high level of mental training, making him impervious to external pressure. He understood the company's logic. It sought obedient agents who would prioritize the mission above all else, even family. However, for Luofeng, filial piety toward his parents was the core value he had held dear since childhood, a value he believed was far more important than the company's orders. He believed that the company expected agents to be ruthless and heartless, prioritizing missions and orders above all else, even disregarding family bonds. To him, that was a significant moral flaw. After the mission ended, Luofeng spent time with his parents, discussing the implications of the Nirvana Guild's actions. He showed them evidence of the Guild's crimes, revealing the betrayal of the Guild members who had exploited Luofeng's name and his father's position. Luo Hongguo was devastated and regretted his actions. Luofeng comforted him and distracted him. Long story short, a Yunmo ship landed, and Luofeng joined 100 geniuses from the Virtual Universe Company who had arrived in the Primal Chaos City. A city messenger welcomed them, separating the newcomers from those who had already been to the city. Luofeng, along with several others who had just arrived, followed the messenger. The others, who were already familiar with the city, were free to go on their own. Then Luofeng arrived at the center of Primal Chaos City, a vast training area filled with warriors in training, world masters and immortals, but most of them were high-level warriors. The energy they emitted was far stronger than that of warriors at the same level. Luofeng was amazed by this sacred training ground, realizing its superiority over other training grounds. After choosing a quiet place to live near his master's residence, he activated the system and claimed the place. He found a spacious balcony in his residence, with graffiti left behind by previous warriors. He decided to spend his time training there. In his living room, he enjoyed a cup of tea while planning his training. He had many valuable resources: a beast god statue, a scroll of time, Yan Shen's weapon, illusion techniques, and much more. He decided to focus on understanding the laws, which he considered to be the foundation of power, before moving on to learning combat techniques. After planning his training, Luofeng visited his master, Emperor Zhenyan. He watched his master teach nearly 1,000 disciples, all of whom were powerful warriors. After class, Luofeng approached his master to report his success in the chain mission. He explained the details of the mission, including the low score and critical evaluation. Emperor Zhenyan was furious upon hearing the assessment of Virtual Universe Company, which he considered too rigid and did not take into account family loyalty and devotion. He praised Luofeng for sticking to his beliefs and values. Emperor Zhenyan asked Luofeng about his training plans and was surprised to learn that Luofeng had abandoned his other missions to focus on his training in Primal Chaos City until he reached the level of World Master. Emperor Zhenyan supported Luofeng's decision, emphasizing the importance of strong personal power. He shared his own experiences from the past, when he caused a commotion that led to his exile, where he was free from the control of the Virtual Universe Company. He stressed the importance of strength and freedom for powerful warriors. Their conversation ended with Luofeng's confidence in the path he had chosen, and the full support of his mentor. After that lengthy conversation, Luofeng reflected deeply. He did not regret his decision not to punish his father. For Luofeng, who grew up in a traditional Chinese family, filial piety was of utmost importance. He understood the company's logic of wanting agents who were perfect, without mercy, and who prioritized the mission above all else. However, for Luofeng, family loyalty was more important. He believed that humans should have compassion and empathy, even in difficult situations. After much contemplation, Luofeng decided to continue his training at a higher level. He would go to Primal Chaos City, a harsh and challenging training ground renowned for its extreme difficulty. At that training ground, the greatest warriors had trained and improved their abilities. Luofeng will spend years there, enhancing his strength and abilities, and reaching his full potential as a warrior. Luofeng's farewell with his master, Emperor Zhenyan, was very emotional. Emperor Zhenyan realized the difficulties Luofeng faced in his mission and praised him for his integrity and courage. As a reward for his success and as a sign of support for Luofeng's future, Emperor Zhenyan gave Luofeng a very valuable gift, a collection of rare and valuable training manuals. These manuals are extremely rare and extremely expensive, and contain techniques that can help Luofeng achieve the level of World Master. Emperor Zhenyan himself had expended a great deal of resources and treasures to obtain these manuals, demonstrating how much he supported Luofeng. The training manuals provided by Emperor Zhenyan are extremely rare and valuable, consisting of 106 standard technique manuals and a set of 3 advanced manuals known as the Beast God, 7 Forms Yan Shen technique. These manuals are extremely important as they contain techniques developed by Shi Luo Duo, the strongest being of the Golden Horn race. These techniques can help Luofeng reach the World Master level and even surpass it. Obtaining these manuals is a highly valuable opportunity, one that not everyone can obtain. Luofeng accepted the gift with deep respect and gratitude. He understood that this manual was not merely a training book, but also a symbol of his master's trust and support. He realized that his journey to Primal Chaos City would not be easy, but he was determined to master these techniques and reach his full potential. He was determined to repay his master's kindness by becoming a strong and just warrior. These manuals were not just books, but a legacy of knowledge and experience. Knowledge and experience gathered over centuries by the greatest warriors in the universe. He understood that mastering these manuals would require dedication, hard work, and sacrifice, but he was ready to face those challenges. He would utilize all the resources at his disposal, improve his abilities, and defend justice. His journey to Primal Chaos City is not merely physical training, but also a spiritual journey to sharpen his resolve and principles. He will emerge from Primal Chaos City as a powerful world master, a wise and just leader, someone who upholds his family values and defends justice throughout the universe. Luofeng began his intensive training with the first manual of the 7 Beast God techniques. The first level required the fusion of some of the laws of space and gold. Luofeng had already mastered the law of gold well, almost enough to reach the 5th level of the 7 Beast God techniques. However, for the law of space, he needed a deep understanding of the first 3 images of the 9 universe Primal Chaos tablets. He realized that Shi Luo Duo, the creator of this technique, had not yet fully mastered the 108 wonders of space law, unlike himself. Luofeng decided to master the 108 wonders first before continuing. Achieving a complete understanding of the wonders of law is extremely difficult, even for a domain master such as Luofeng. However, with the help of the golden horned beast, the beast god statue, and his clones, his training was much faster than that of other warriors. Lian Luo, for example, needed 3,000 years to master the 108 wonders. Luofeng chose an even more difficult path, not only mastering the laws but also combining them. He began his intensive training, practicing every day on his balcony while observing the rotation of the laws of the universe, assisted by the golden horned beast and Moshe's clones. He also frequently visited the training hall to study the tablet of the universe and attend classes taught by immortal masters. Time passed quickly. Nearly 90 years had passed in the Primal Chaos City, equivalent to nearly 300 years in the actual universe. Luofeng had become an effective training machine, absorbing knowledge and improving his abilities relentlessly. One day, Luofeng attended a class taught by Emperor Yanlong, a renowned expert in space and gold law. After class, 2 people were discussing Luofeng. They were Tuo Ka, one of the 10 domain masters and a senior in the Secret Realm member, and another warrior. Tuo Ka, who had heard of Luofeng's reputation, was curious to meet him. They discussed Luofeng's abilities and predicted that he would be defeated in the upcoming qualification battle due to his lack of experience. They underestimated Luofeng and regarded him as a novice who would be easily defeated by the more senior domain masters. Luofeng overheard their conversation and smiled. He realized that his rapid success had made some domain masters, his seniors, jealous and envious because they were all competing for the same place in the primal secret realm. They looked down on him, thinking that he didn't have enough combat experience. Babata reminded Luofeng that he was actually still at the domain master level, and his training was far more efficient than that of his seniors. Luofeng was confident that he would prove his abilities in the qualifying battle. Long story short, in less than 90 years in Primal Chaos City, Luofeng had mastered 102 of the 108 wonders of space law, a speed far surpassing Bolin's. He was confident that he could master all 108 before the qualification battle, allowing him to easily pass the 12E level Heavenly Bridge exam. He decided to attempt the Heavenly Bridge exam to test his abilities. At the entrance to the Heavenly Bridge trial, Bevan the Guardian, who had been stationed there for years, was startled to see Luofeng appear. Bevan mocked Luofeng, predicting that he would only pass the lower levels. Luofeng smiled and declared that he would surprise the Guardian Bevan. He then entered the Heavenly Bridge exam, ready to prove his extraordinary abilities. So what happens next? Let's wait for next week's spoiler, guys. Alright, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.